India and China. The two most populous countries of the globe. We often see people comparing these two, may it be the military, economy, or any other comparison. Both the countries have different capabilities. We all know China's manufacturing capabilities and how it is the world's factory. But now the question here is, can the foreign investors count on India to set up their factories? And can India really manufacture like China? Well, let's find out. China and India are some of the oldest civilizations. Before the Industrial Revolution in the West, these two were the biggest economies of the world. But in the colonial period, both suffered a lot economically, and due to this in the post-colonial period, both China and India looked very suspiciously to Western powers and their capitalism. This led them to follow the socialist economic structure, just like USSR. As you might know, this failed terribly, especially in China where millions of people lost lives in events like the Great Leap Forward. During the same time, some East Asian countries like Taiwan, South Korea, Singapore and Hong Kong saw a boom in their economic growth. They opened their economies to foreign investors, and used their cheap labor for low-cost manufacturing of goods. China saw the growth of its neighbors and started to adopt it. In 1979 China opened its economy, and after that foreign investment flooded in the country. From electronics to textile, everything started to be made in China. The Western markets flooded with Chinese products, which made huge profits for multinational companies. The country became the world's factory and an export giant. And the average growth of 10% per year, helped China become second largest economy of the globe. Similarly, India also realized that they cannot sustain its socialist policies for its economic growth, and this was after the fall of the USSR, who at that time was the biggest trading partner of India. So in 1991, India also opened its economy. After opening the economy, India also became the export hub. But what India was exporting is not cheap manufactured goods, yet it was the high-skilled IT services, such as software and business process outsourcing. After the 1991 reforms, the government established a corporation called Software Technology Parks of India. This corporation provided satellite links to major IT developers, enabling them to transmit the work done in India directly abroad. Also, the huge restrictions on overseas business were lifted, and foreign investments were welcomed. As a result, the IT industry in India became free and the business of outsourcing gained momentum. Today the IT industry accounts for 8% of India's GDP, playing a very important role in the Indian economy. Now, unlike the IT boom in India, low-end manufacturing didn't get the momentum that was required. You see, IT sector jobs are mostly limited to the English-speaking, and people with high skill set. So looking at the vast labor force, India also needed labor-intensive industries. Don't take me wrong, India has a huge industry of manufacturing, but it is still substantially behind China's capabilities. So the question arises, why exactly India lags behind in manufacturing? Well, in our previous videos also, many times we have discussed the range of problems regarding India's manufacturing sector. First, let's talk about infrastructure. India's road and rail networks still do not match with the international standards. The traveling time of goods is often very long. Also, due to inadequate power infrastructure, energy supply is not enough. India's annual power gap is more than 10%. Now on the other hand, China offers integrated infrastructure, like the large ports and highways, top quality labor, and sophisticated logistics. All of which are critical factors to meet strict deadlines that international companies operate. Another major reason why India is not the choice for international companies is, the country does not have free trade agreements with many nations. It's been more than 5 years, India is still negotiating free trade agreement with the US and the European Union. And last year, they also pulled out from the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. Due to this, the country isn't well integrated with major global supply chains. Now, even though India is open for foreign investment, the import tariffs have been increasing since 2018. Also, the import process is complicated and time-consuming. And with the corruption and bureaucracy, it is difficult to operate an international business here. Some experts say, India putting barrier on its economy reminds them of the failed socialist model before 1991. On the bright side, the Indian government has noticed many problems. For instance, to increase the manufacturing capacity, the government is offering subsidies through schemes like production-linked incentive. From electronic manufacturing to textile, and from automobile industries to pharmaceuticals, India is offering generous subsidies to various industries in order to boost the manufacturing capabilities. And as these industries will grow, the country can take advantage of their booming population, which is set to surpass China over the next decade. As you know, China's population is getting older, and it is declining. We have made a video about the effects on China's declining population. Check it out if you're interested. Another good thing is, India's median population is still below 30, and they still probably has 3 decades before its population starts to get older. If India uses this opportunity, then in the coming decades more than 500 million people could enter the middle income class category, and this could be the largest growth in the world's middle class. Also, the Indian startup culture could help the growing economy. The year 2020 saw the birth of maximum number of Indian unicorns, with 44 unicorns coming in that year. For those who don't know what unicorn means, it is a term used in the venture capital industry to describe a privately held startup company with a value of over $1 billion. According to HSBC research, in the last 5 years India's internet startup has got an investment of $60 billion, of which $12 billion of investment came in 2020 alone. This boom in startups has happened because of the digitalization of the country. India's internet penetration rate is increasing rapidly. Today the country's internet penetration has reached 50%, and just 5 years ago it was only 27%. The increasing use of the internet is not just helping startups, but also big institutions and small businesses. According to a research, in 2015 and 16 internet contributed 5.6% to the GDP, this has increased to 16% in 2020. And in terms of dollars, in 2020 this contributed nearly $530 billion, out of which $270 billion came only from the mobile applications. It is also estimated that by 2025, 10% of India's private consumption goods could be accessed through the internet. So, will the few government subsidies and digitalization be enough to attract foreign investment? Well, I don't think so. Also, China's ways of capitalizing on low-cost labor for manufacturing may not work for India. And that is because of automation in various industries. What India needs to do is undertake broad structural reforms for ease of doing business, improve its infrastructure, and most importantly use the changing geopolitical shifts to modify its trading relationship with the world. Now I have already said this and I am saying it again, if India plays it right, it could be on different heights by the end of the decade. So we can all do is, wait and watch what happens. So, what do you think about this video? Tell us in the comments below. And if you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing. Thank you.